Today we're talking about PLTR stock, Sofi, and of course my favorite, Alibaba. We're going to be going into exactly the opportunities that are set here and where I'm looking to either buy or even go short on these names right now, because I believe right now people are looking at this from the wrong viewpoint overall. So first thing we're talking about is PLTR, of course, right now. Now, unless you live under a rock, then you saw the news yesterday. Basically what happened is you got number one, Alex Karp, the CEO, filing basically to start selling some shares, and it was a total of $1.2 billion. Now, why is this significant? We've seen CEOs like Jensen Huang, we've seen other CEOs like Tim Cook, you've seen Amazon CEO or founder Jeff Bezos selling a lot of shares. But why it's important goes back down to earnings, in my opinion, because you're selling so much money worth of your stock, right? Now, typically this is not an issue, but to give you perspective, Palantir is growing rapidly, which basically over the past year, you've gone from 634 million to basically 830 million, which is awesome overall growth. But the problem here is that Alex Karp is filing to sell $1.2 billion worth of stock, right? Can't think right now, right? That's the issue, which is basically earnings and a half. And so it's not like he's selling a small little amount, right? That's the concern. If you want to also know, Alex Karp, I think last year's net worth was around $10 billion. This would be about a tenth of his net worth in cash, right? So again, a way to be thinking about it, because it's not like a small amount. The other problem here is when you look at what's happening with Palantir, what is it really worth? That's the question as well when you look at the market cap. Market cap has tanked $20 billion in a day so far, right? So again, a few things that we're watching, a few things that we're looking at right now, specifically on Palantir stock. Now, the other part of this was what was happening with budget cuts, if you weren't aware, right? And we talked about this a little bit in yesterday's video. The report outlined orders from U.S. military defense budget to be cut by 8% annually for the next 5 years. This was leaked as well. Now, that is seeming to be true, right? That they still have to do the cut, right? It's not just fake news. Now, what's important here is you had Dan Ives out of Wedbush come out and he gave his opinion and said this could actually be a pro for Palantir. Now, something that we said in yesterday's video, just because there's a budget cut doesn't mean that they're going to stop using Palantir. That doesn't mean that they're going to cut their spending towards Palantir. Now, we know a few things about this administration, Trump, and then ultimately Elon Musk. He's huge on AI. He's huge on cutting overall spending with better products, more efficiency, etc. Which seems like Palantir that's the route if you want to do that. So Dan Ives says his team argued that instead of it hurting Palantir, the proposed cuts could actually work in his favor, with the Pentagon aiming for more disciplined spending, and Palantir software could attract a larger share of IT budget dollars. So important to think about this. This is their viewpoint, and again, the Pentagon has a lot of things that it spends money on. It's not just Palantir and what they're doing there. So I think the only thing that's negative to look at here is that they're not increasing the overall budget, which it seems like that's what we're always doing, is increasing budgets, not reducing. And that's the one thing to look at there. Now, when we go to the chart here on Palantir, something that I said yesterday, if you watch yesterday's video, where does the chart get interesting? Where is there a lot of weakness, right? It's right in this area, basically from below $100 down to around $85. There is no liquidity, there's no buying, there's no history, there's nothing. So this morning, you saw us get below 100, you quickly drop down to like 94, 95, bounce back up. You're trying to hold that level there. You go to the hourly chart, you can see you're trying to hold $100. Makes logical sense. If you are interested in downside, if you're looking at that type of potential, right, then you are waiting to get a hold on a higher time frame, like at least like an hourly candle, 30-minute candle, whatever it may be, a break, retest, continuation to the downside. Holding below this level would signify, in my opinion, sellers are taking control and buyers are weakening. Now, does that mean it's the end of the world? Does that mean I expect you to dump, tank, and Palantir go to zero? No. In my opinion, if I'm looking at this chart for a perfect buying opportunity, it's going to be at your previous level here around $84 to $85. That is your next big line of defense. And if we pull up the VRVP, looking at overall volume just for the past, basically go back into November, again, your POC, point of control, most volume, most amount of shares traded was around $72, which where you start to get more of that volume, as you can see here, is underneath 100. The next level is going to be near $84 to $85 in that range. So you could see down to $72, $70. But again, Where I start to become a buyer is down here. Something that I want to highlight to people. Everyone keeps saying, Tyler, are you still buying these names like Hims? And again, I want to use this as an example. I'm not saying these names are bad, right? But we have to rethink or rework how we think about buying shares, buying stock, spending money in the market. When you're just looking at names, and this is what people were asking me, genuinely asking on the channel. Hey, Tyler, are you still buying Hims? When I mentioned it at our video down here at 45 for the breakout, and now you're at $70. You have to look at the market of buying value, buying something that has potential to continue going up. Yeah, Hims could, in theory, continue going up here, but I don't want to buy at highs because, again, you are susceptible to pullbacks like this. And I don't want to be in a worse position. I want to be in a position to where I can feel comfortable holding, not have to sweat about a position, things along those lines. And so hopefully when you're on this channel, you can see that I'm going over names, going over options, going over trades that have that type of potential, because I'm always trying to find the best overall chance of winning. I don't just want to have a big reward potential. I want to have a really good chance of actually winning my trade and reducing the amount of risk across the board in all my trades, right? So the least amount of risk as possible, with hopefully to make money in the long run as well. And most of you people that are watching probably have day jobs, so you want to have less risk, in my opinion, as well. Do whatever you want to do, but again, how I'm looking at this. So again, Palantir, I'm looking for us down near $84, $85. Next up, overall, Sofi. This is the big name you guys have been asking about. Again, I've tried to cover them as much as possible. Sofi getting a pullback. Now, it's worth mentioning the market as a whole today is down. The Nasdaq is down about 200 points. So I do want this to be clear. Sofi, I would argue, follows more of the Dow with the banking sector. The Dow was down around 600 points on the day. So go figure. You look at XLF, the banking ETF, also down on the day. So again, when we go over to Sofi, again, you're back below your key level of 16.5. The big buy level, like I've been mentioning, guess what, guys? You're coming back near that range. Again, this is the level you've been holding since around November 10th, November 13th. And again, you've seen why we developed there. Again, you can go back and see why you're sitting at that level, why you want to find buyers off of it. Now, the other part that I will say here is that on the other side, if you don't come down there, you still look really good because you're still making those higher lows. As you can see, making higher lows here. That's what you would like to see. However, again, the buying zone is right here. I'm not going to change it. That's where I am a buyer. And then if you lose 13.5, the next level to buy is down here at 11.7. I will say, though, I don't think Sofi is a short-term trade. I don't buy it with, okay, I'm going to make money going into next week, going into next month. I buy it with the mentality, this is a good long-term name. I want to buy, I want to hold, I want to forget about it because I like what it's doing. I like what they're acquiring. I like how they're changing their business model, and I like the overall growth, right? So again, that's how I would be viewing this. And if you're looking at this from the viewpoint of I want to trade options, personally, what I would be doing is going dated. And again, some of you might hate when I say dated options, but it is what it is. And again, the way you think about dated options, leap options, things along those lines, is you're buying basically like leveraged shares. So instead of spending $10,000 on Sofi stock, maybe you spend $2,500 on just overall shares, and it'll do the same amount of work with a little bit less money, and maybe even control your risk a little bit better as well. So how I would look at this is going into January of 2016 and buying options here. Again, $20 strikes are only around $250. And again, giving you a better visual, going into detailed quotes, you can see the highs of these contracts earlier were at 323, and that was on the 18th. That was just going back overall, not that far, right? So worth mentioning, worth tracking, worth watching. And again, you can see how these move for yourself. So that's how I would be viewing this. I'm not looking to make 300% on these options, but again, putting you in a position to win and not have to tie up all your capital into one position or YOLO into one overall thing. So again, something to view, something to be looking at. Sofi, still interesting. I'm not super concerned. Again, 5% day on the downside. It is what it is. But again, where you're looking to buy near $14, $14.5, that's your best overall position. Below that, down towards 11, and the contracts will ultimately just get cheaper as well. Now, if you're buying stock, again, I think the best way to look at buying stock is going into the mentality of buying a set amount at a set day or a set period of time over and over and over. So if I'm buying once a week, once a month, whatever it may be, I'm blindly buying into it, the end. That's how you have to be looking at shares, or unless you're watching a specific stock to get down to a certain level to load up maybe more than you usually would. That's how I would look about doing that as well. Now, going in a little bit further as well into BABA. A lot of you guys are asking about this. Baba is a big boy. Now tonight, I'm going to let you know, I'm going to go over some semiconductors, but I'm also going to be going deep into Microsoft as well if you're interested. So check it out tonight. But Baba is one of the big boys we've been talking about. Again, that video didn't get a lot of views, right? You guys obviously aren't searching for Alibaba. I get it. So I have to kind of work Baba into my other videos because I want you guys to get in on the biggest and the best plays. Now, in Discord, we were talking a lot about Baba. You guys already know. And again, we got into Baba. Again, let me find it really quickly for you. I just want to make sure so I'm not spooking you guys or lying to you whatsoever. Our entries, I believe, were around $5, $5.40, I believe. I want to be positive here. Again, you can all go through. When you're in Discord, you can quickly go through all of it like this to look up keywords. I want to make sure I'm never lying to you guys. Yeah, so what we bought was right here. Baba calls April 17th, 140 strikes, 570 to 580 a contract. Today, those alone, again, I'm not lying to you. I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you exactly where they got, and I'm going somewhere with this, so please stick along. Baba, I'm telling you, this is probably one of my top plays on the year. I'm telling you right now, one of my favorite, if not my favorite play on the year. I think it's just getting started. They hit highs of 13.65 after market open. I mean, you had plenty of time to sell that above $12 as well. So over 100% on that play as well. But Baba had earnings and Baba had some good things to say. Now, a few things looking at their earnings, they destroyed overall. We said it would be a little bit tough, but they beat it if you watched yesterday's video. Again, 8% growth year over year. They're doing $38 billion in revenue, and they're focused on AI. Again, what you wanted to see them talk about, and working with Apple for the new iPhones going to China. Because if you remember, Chinese sales were down for Apple overall this past quarter. They were bad. It was really, really bad. However, this, in my opinion, working with Baba is the company they want to work with. And I think this could really start to get things shaping up in the right direction. The other part here, again, we need to understand what's really happening here. They're producing around $38.4 billion a quarter, okay? Understand that. So just quick math, right? Let's say they're doing $40 billion a quarter, right? So we'll actually average, we'll subtract a little bit in a second. Just 40 billion times 4. That's $160 billion a year. Now let's give or take, get rid of $10 billion. So let's say they're making $150 billion a year just in revenue. That's all they're doing. Look at their market cap. Their market cap from that is literally $327 billion as of this morning. It's literally only a 2x valuation right now. It is the most affordable name out there. This should be, I mean, I guess it's a large cap. It should be a mega cap. This should be $1 trillion company. It just should be. Again, this is absolutely insanity what they're doing right now. The PE ratio, again, the value here is huge. And if they take advantage of what they're going to be doing with AI, what they're going to be doing with Apple, I don't see how the revenue doesn't get closer to 50 billion by the end of the year. Personal opinion here, looking at this. So again, Baba, what am I saying here? Am I telling you to buy at highs, anything like that? No, it's not what I'm telling you. Okay, a few things here. Number one, our first target, we mentioned it, 139, 153, 161. What am I looking at right now? I'm looking at going into dated calls. Now, again, if you're in Discord, you're going to get notified about this. You might see it today, you might see it tomorrow. I don't know. But again, I like dated positions here. I would be getting some time because I want to be able to capture this move, right? I knew I'd get a short dated move right now. Now I'm excited. I made some money. I can cover a little bit of my position. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. So again, when I look at where we're at and I look towards January, again, look at the money flowing in here. Look at the volume actually flowing into contracts and leaps on the day. The 150s for January are looking and sitting pretty, right? $16,000 of just open interest for the 150s. I'm telling you, in my opinion, Baba is one of the best longer term names where we're sitting right now that just reported fantastic earnings. And the question of the only real question right now is I don't even think Chinese, first of all, we're trying to get a Chinese trade agreement, which Donald Trump announced last night, right? Just announced this last night. Yep, just said it, right? Trump buys a bigger, better trade deal that he sees now as possible, right here. Trump says new China trade deal possible despite tensions, right? So again, if that gets locked in, I am telling you, Baba is a big winner. The other side of this as well that you got to highlight, the daily chart. Look at where you're at. You base down here, you're above 120. Dude, this is a monster play. This 120 level is also your IPO highs back from November 2014. Absolutely incredible where you're at. It's an absolute steal. This is what you want to see. Now, again, I'll have more updates coming out for you, but right now I love where BABA is as well. And overall, that's what you love to see here in the market. Now, again, you saw a little bit of a pullback here on NASDAQ, ES today, but nonetheless, BABA still holding up great. Gave you a little bit of a dip, but I believe, again, you're getting big buying opportunities in the long run as well. This is what I love. This is what I want to see. Again, absolutely love it. So if you have questions, comment down below. Follow on Twitter. The Discord link, all that is down below as well. Have a good one, traders.